and welcome to Tuesday's Tips with Lauri. We're coming live to you from my dining room. I'm still a little bit under quarantine, so this is where we are today. So to start with, I am planning today to show you and hopefully help you through how to float your tea towel. Now when we're floating our tea towel, it's very simple. I'll show you the prep work with the tea towel. It just takes about 30 seconds for that, as well as making some templates of your own to help you, as well as you can use any kind of type or any type of stabilizer you already have. I don't want you to feel like you need to go out and purchase new stabilizer just for this. You can use any stabilizer you already have at home, and I'll show you different ways and methods you could use in order to do that. To start with though, I wanted to show you some examples of our tea towels from Buttons Always in Season. And our Buttons Always in Season, as you can see, has got all 4 seasons, and they are such cute designs. Especially, I love the tea towels, and you can use all the buttons with that. So included on the design right there, you can see the CD. It's our Kimberbell Designs Buttons Always in Season. And there's a lot more designs that come on that CD than what you just see here. I just didn't have room to put all of those out, as well as show you all this demonstration. So to get started with, first thing we're going to do is we take the tea towel, and as you can see, the tea towels come in a variety. We also have navy and some other colors. To start with though, I'm going to take my tea towel, take it out of the package, and decide which side is the top and which side is the bottom. So I'm going to do this. This is my bottom. This is where I'm going to put my design. As you can see, it's at the bottom of the tea towel. So the first thing is I iron it out. And then the second thing is, and this is most important, fold it right sides together with the fold on the right side. You can just remember that. Right sides together, fold on the right side. And I always hit my right shoulder because I make sure I've got my right, my fold on my right. All right, second thing I do is I'm gonna just give this a quick iron so it's pressed right where I need it to be, right here. You don't need to press the entire towel all the way down, just right here where we're working. The second thing then, or the third thing I should say, you're gonna measure 5 inches down. So I just take my ruler, I measure 5 inches, and I like to put a pin. I just put a pin, it makes it easy. Now I'm gonna fold it down. Don't fold it under or tuck it under, fold it down. And then I iron that again, and I'm just folding it down right where I put that pin at the 5 inches. So there's 5 inches right there. Pull my pin out, and it's ready to go right into my hoop, or on my hoop, because we're floating it. Let me do that one more time so I can show you how simple it is to do. All right, take your tea towel. You want the side or the bottom edge where you're going to place your design, and there's my bottom edge where I want to place my design. Make sure I put right sides together with the fold on the right, and that's right there. And then you're going to press that seam and measure 5 inches down and place the pin, and right there's my 5-inch mark. And I'm placing my pin right there. Then I know right where to fold it down. And when I fold that down, I just make sure these edges are right on top of each other and iron that down again. And that was so quick. Look, we got 2 tea towels ready for hooping that fast. It doesn't take very long. So now that I've got my tea towels ready, I'm going to show you a couple of different things with stabilizer. So the first stabilizer I have is a sticky back. You could buy sticky back wash away, or if you have sticky back tear away, you can use either one of those. You can use this is just a tear away that has a fusible. You can see it's shiny. It's got fusible already on the one side. There's also no-show meshes that you can use that are fusible. Or if you want water soluble because you want to wash it out of your tea towel, you can do that too. And this is a water soluble one. And I even have a tearaway right here. And I'm going to show you how you can use any of this type of stabilizer, and you can easily hoop this. I'm going to show you how. So the first thing I've done is I've made myself a couple of templates. These templates are just made of like a lightweight cardstock or cardstock. If you don't have cardstock, you can use paper. Not a big deal. and I'll show you after we're done showing you how to float these, how to make your template. And I bet you can make it in probably 2 minutes or less. So really simple and easy. First thing I do is I take my template, and because it's the sticky back and it's got sticky to it, I'm going to put my template under. And as you can see, when I lay this, well, let me show you first, I want the bulk of my tea towel to come off of my arm, of my embroidery arm here. I don't want to have to worry about wrapping it up underneath my arm, okay? So I want to take care of which way my hoop is right now. So if I were to slide it in my machine this way, that makes this the top and this the bottom. So it's running that way, and my bottom is down here. And as you can see on my template, I have top and bottom labeled, so it's easy. I match my hoop up to my template. Now what I'm doing is I'm measuring, and you can see where there's an empty box in this one corner. That is the key. That's why these templates are so great. And all I do is I take my tea towel and I'm just going to place that fold exactly, or this corner where I've got both folds right on that empty spot. Okay? Then you simply unfold and you unfold, and it's ready to go in your machine. It's straight. You don't have to worry. Is it crooked? I don't know. You know it's straight because you just placed it on, straight as can be. So that's the advantage of those templates. So that's how you would hoop or float, if you will, your tea towel with a sticky back wash away. And then peel that off, and we're going to start now again with a different one. We're going to try this fusible one, okay? So the fusible one, you can lay your template on the top if you'd like, or you can leave it underneath if you'd like. Once again, I'm going to lay my top of my hoop over here, my bottom of my hoop here, and I'm lining this up. Now, in order to make this stick, I've just added a piece of tape right across this corner, and that tape will just hold that paper in place for me while I get my tea towel. Now, I've got my tea towel, and again, I would do the same thing. This is fusible, so what I would do is I would place that in to where it belongs, and I'm going to pull my template away. It's easy to pull away even if that tape is there. I'm going to open this up without moving that, and then I would take my iron and my small iron. Make sure you'd have to have an iron that fits inside your hoop, and you would fuse this then to your fusible stabilizer. That's what that fusible is for. All right, I didn't really want to because I'm going to reuse this again, but that's how you would do that, and then you would open it up, and there's a second way. Now here's another method. This works with the water soluble. So a lot of times people love the water soluble, and I do too. I would recommend doubling. I always like to double my water soluble stabilizer, and this is a fibrous one. That's my favorite one that I've ever used. This is my favorite kind. So what I do here is, again, I'm going to rotate it, top of my hoop, bottom of my hoop, and I'm going to use my same template again, lining those up right there so I know right where my corners are. And when your taper is out, you can just put another new piece of tape if it's losing its stick, because I've used this a lot of times. Then you'll take your stabilizer or your tea towel. Now you can either, there's several different methods. You can either lay that in place and you'll flip it and pull this, and you can use pins if you want. But if you use pins, I caution you, make sure that they're very outside edge, and as soon as you start your stitching, these come out, okay? We don't want to have pins in while you're stitching. But there are other ways as well. There's fusible powders out there, and the powders you can use with the water soluble because it's not water, it's a heat activated, so it works. The other thing would be, and I'm going to back this up just a little bit, you can use a 505 basting spray. I don't recommend using a lot of it with a water soluble stabilizer because you don't want to mess with the integrity, but you don't spray it on the hoop, you spray it on your item. So what I would do if I'm using the spray, and I'll show you how I would use the spray, I put my template down, and then I don't want to spray my table here, so I just spray this corner with a little bit of that spray. Okay, so it's got some tack to it. And then I lay it down right on the corner. And then I'm going to pull my template away. So now that's stuck down. As you can see, I can move this around and it's stuck down. Then I'm going to spray the top part of my tea towel. And then I'm going to spray the next portion of the tea towel. And there you go. And it's stuck to the hoop. As you can see, I can even lift the hoop with it, just like that. So it's nice and stuck to your hoop, and it's easy to take over to your sewing machine, and you put it in your sewing machine without any problems. Now, the Quilter Select is also, it's the fusible powder. That works just as well. So you would just sprinkle some powder and iron it in place. That works just as great. Now, for those of you that may have a larger hoop, this is another great way. This is my tearaway stabilizer. So what I'm going to do is, again, and there's a lot of hoops out there that have a top and a bottom, that you want to make sure that you're placing your tea towel the direction that you want it to be. So I'm going to turn my hoop. This is my top and this is my bottom of my hoop, and I have a little bit larger template for this one. In fact, I have my templates labeled. This is my 8x12. This is my 5x7 template. So it depends on which one I'm going to be using. And I simply stick that down. It's ready. It's in place. And there again, you can spray it if you'd like. I'll just show you quickly. If you want to spray it, you can. You just spray that corner right there. And you'll put that one in place. Right there. You'll pull the template away and you'll pull this. Now, as you can see, I can actually tape this now because my part of my hoop is exposed. So if I wanted to, you can also tape these in place if you have a large enough hoop that you're placing your design in. So let's say I'm going to do my 6x10 inch design on this one. That's why I don't have a 6x10 inch hoop. So I'm using my 8x12 hoop because it's big enough, but then I would place that down and I can tape this on the ends in place right here to my hoop. I don't know if you can see my hoop. I can see it from this direction. And you tape it to the hoop and right here. And you just tape it right here to the hoop and to the rest of the stabilizer, and it stays in place just long enough for me to get it to my machine. And if you have a basting box on your machine, great. That's what I would use first thing, is add your basting box to hold everything in place. If you don't, that's okay. You can start stitching your design and that will hold it in place as well. Those are just several ways that you can use floating your hoop and you know that it's going to be in the correct position. It's going to be straight. All right, so making your template. I'm going to show you the simple, easy way. I'm going to find one of these that's easy.
So we do have one question.
Yes.
Do you have to wash it after you spray the tea towel?
Oh, thank you. Great question. This is actually temporary, so it actually dissipates and it's gone within 24 hours. So I wouldn't spray a bunch of these and get them all ready. I would spray it as you're making it, but find one that does not gum up your needle. It should say right on your 505 temporary basting spray, it doesn't gum up your needle. Like, make sure that's on the bottle, as well as one that will, it's just temporary. Find the word temporary. You don't want a permanent basting spray. This doesn't stay very long, like 24 hours, and it just dissipates. It just kind of disappears, really. So that's a great question. Thank you. All right, so to make your template, I'm going to just show you. You're going to take your hoop, whichever hoop you're going to use to make your template. All right, and you're going to do the same thing I did earlier. You're going to find your top and your bottom of your hoop and make sure that it's rotated the direction that you want it to be. All right, and then you're going to take a piece of paper, and what I like to do is, if you noticed, I always this was my corner. You can see the corner closest to me on the left is the corner that I always lay my first piece down, the first part of the fold, and that's because I always fold all my tea towels the same way. I fold them right sides together with a fold on the right, then I fold it down, and I know it's gonna fit directly onto my hoop when I have it sideways. And it's gonna work perfectly. Everything's gonna hang over the edge of the arm, so I don't have to worry. So just remember to do that. So the first thing I do then is I'm gonna lay my hoop over my paper, and I'm gonna write the word top, and I'm writing sideways, sorry. So that's the top, and then this is the bottom. Okay, so that's the top and that's the bottom. And then what I like to do is, I like to have a bit of amount of paper there, or cardstock. So I'm gonna place it just kind of here at right at the edge. So I can use this edge even when I'm lining it up. All I do is mark where these crosshairs are. And because some of the crosshairs are down here, or they're a little bit off, but that's where the center of your hoop is. So wherever the center of your hoop is, that's where you're gonna want to mark those 4 things, okay? Then I simply just draw a line, a straight line, from one side to the other, right along those marks. And I simply cut out this square. So I'm gonna mark that with an X so that I make sure I cut the right square out. And then I'm gonna finish tracing these lines. And you simply cut this square out, and there's your template. So super, super easy to make. Super easy to make. And these are my paper scissors. These are the ones I like to use for my paper stuff. All right. So now you've got your template made. It's super easy. And then all I do is take a piece of tape, and I put the piece of tape right over the corner, so it's just got a little bit of tape hanging off. That way it's easy to attach to, you can see right here, it's easy to attach to your hoop just to hold it in place. That is all I have for you. Do you have any other questions?
What kind of tape were you using?
A Kimberbell paper tape. I was using Kimberbell paper tape, yes. That's a great question.
And then where could they get the spray?
The spray, oh, very good question. It should be available, most quilt shops will have that. This is a Sulky. I like this brand. It's just because it's a small little bottle, easy for my small hands to be able to grab one-handed and take care of things. My goodness, I think about any craft store would have this, but if you're going to a craft store, make sure that it is the temporary basting spray and it doesn't gum up the needles. Those are the 2 important things. Also, check with your local quilt shop because they'll have the best one for you, most likely. Are there any other questions?
No.
Oh, great. Well, thank you so much for joining us today, and I hope that you will be able to use these tips and you will make as many tea towels as you possibly can. Thank you so much. Bye-bye.